Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a best of 3 between in the top left spawning as our blue Zerg player playing for team Basilisk GG. It is Serral. And in the bottom right here of this beautiful map called Heartland, the man, the myth, the legend, playing for the Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Terran versus Zerg best of 3. With a double barracks starting on the low ground. The ByuN Double Rex Reaper, a very popular opener. I've been seeing for quite a while now. Serral should be very familiar with it, should know how to deal with it. He's mining quite a bit of gas, by the way, pulled into gas. This is a move we often only see in a Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Most of the time we see Zergs having full saturation on these mineral patches and then rallying into the gas. And in ZVZ they pull one earlier into the gas. So you get some undersaturation on the minerals, you have less minerals, but a faster speed upgrade. And that is what Serral is going for here as well. Probably because he knows that his opponent is a big fan of these Reaper openers. It's just going to be a double Reaper opener this time around, by the way. No triple or quad or even penta Reaper openers, which are things that we have seen in the past. ByuN just opting for the double here. As we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be getting after this. Of course, going to be a CC, but then what else? Are we going to see more barracks being added? Are we going to see a third command center? I do believe we see a third barracks actually being added somewhere here in the natural as well. So the first Reaper trying to do as much damage as they can before the first Queen pops out. One Ling ends up going down. Second Reaper shows up as well, but that's going to be the end of this little aggression over here. I don't really think there's too much that ByuN can achieve here. Ooh, he's going to try and dive in towards the main base. I'm not sure if Serral caught all of this. Perhaps the drone might die. No, ByuN, good control here on the Reapers. Going to kill one more Ling and really just forcing out 10, 12, 13 Lings. Well, you can't force out 13 Lings because it always has to be an even number. But decent amount of Lings here were forced out. I think that is good enough if you just open up with a double Reaper. Of course, he will need to do something else behind all of this. We have that third barracks with the tech lab. Stim already has started. So it's going to be a Stim combat shield push here. Probably hitting around 5 minutes and 10, 15 seconds into the game. Here goes ByuN. And, well, it's probably going to get caught here with those two Reapers. One Reaper goes down. Second Reaper, well, will also just go down. So this is definitely the benefit of having just that maybe 10 or 12 second quicker speed that Serral went for here. Definitely paying off for him. Because he gets both of those Reapers, cleans them up, and I don't think ByuN was expecting that. Very frustrating for him. Not only is it frustrating right in this moment, but if ByuN wants to play another one of those Reaper builds, he will need to keep in mind that there's a possibility that it's very fast speed, so he can be less aggressive. So if you're capable of throwing in like with one of these quicker speed things, and it pays off like that, that really helps you throughout the entire series. Ooh, Serral with an uncharacteristic mistake here. Very slow there with pulling his Lings away. Had them on hold position, of course. And as a result, I think 3-4 Lings ended up going down. It's not the end of the world. This is actually fairly sloppy. He's losing way more Lings here to these Marines than he's lost in the entire game so far, I'm pretty sure, against the Reapers. This is kind of surprising, and we see a few more Lings on the way. We have more Queens as well coming out. A bunch of Marines now moving across the map. Okay, this is hitting much quicker than I'd expected. I thought this really hit closer to the early 5 minutes, but it seems like it's hitting in the late 4s, really. The roaring 40s, as they call it. Well, actually, I think it's the roaring 20s, isn't it? Well, if at any point in time you're hitting with a 3-rack Stim combat shield at 2 minutes, you're probably hacking as Stim pops up over here. It's gonna get one Queen snipe. I think that might have been the Queen even that had a transfuse available. Second Queen goes down as well. Good control here by ByuN as the stutter step timing is immaculate. Lots of Lings here are actually falling as well. And ByuN with an okay trade. Low worker count overall for Serral, but at the same time, he basically gave Serral a free pass here to, what should I say, 64, 65 drones? Fort base could be thrown down, Evo chambers can be built as well. I mean, that was a significant amount of Marines that just fell. ByuN is going to move out once more. This feels extremely fake though, and I don't think that Serral will fall for it. All we see right now is drone production, extra gas on the way, and a Roach war. And Serral here, I think, making the correct read that this is indeed a 2-base play. And against 2-base plays, you do not want Ling Bane. You want the Roaches instead. It makes defending them much, much easier. And that is indeed what Serral's doing here. He's going to go for the carapace upgrade. I also think that is quite common, as we do have a pretty significant supply block here for almost 18 seconds. Serral also wasn't quite done droning yet, I think. I don't think 60 was the end point. So it might actually be kind of bad in that case. Well, for now he's just building Ling Bane. Ling Bane Roach. Okay, a little bit of everything. This is not a monogamous. It's been late for me, guys. I just traveled back from Atlanta. English is still my second language. I think we can all forgive me. Does have a monogamous, there we go, relationship with the Baneling here. He also wants to throw in some Roaches. That's weird. Usually we see either pure Roach or pure Ling Bane. Not this kind of semi-mix here. That is actually kind of odd. Because the power of the Roach Ravagers, that the Roaches can tank a bit, and the Ravagers throw their shells on top of the tanks, of course, or their biles on top of the tanks. This is a good trade here for ByuN, who doesn't even have +1 yet. Now he's going to snipe another Queen. These Lings are not trading too well. Tank is not gonna get picked up. I think there was an opportunity there for a pickup, but ByuN didn't quite believe it. Monogamous. There we go. Okay. 3 times the charge. So we're gonna have a double drop heading in towards the main base, a double drop perhaps heading towards the right. I'd love for this tank to not actually move out with this army. I'd love for this tank to just say, hey, I want to be at home. I'm just gonna chill. I want to build up my tank count. I really wouldn't mind it. Of course, the tank does add a bit of pressure here, and there's really no Overlord vision on that left side. This is going to get spotted the moment it hits the main base. There's no Banelings in the defense. Wait, this is a win here for ByuN in the main, isn't it? Can Serral actually fight this? There are 4 Queens. I don't think this is good enough here for Serral. He's gonna take out 1 medevac. That definitely helps. Queens now falling. 3 Queens go down as the medevac with 6 Marines stays alive. At the same time, 2 tanks trying to siege up on the far right side here. There are a couple of Banelings as the Ravagers moving forward. 1 tank gets knocked out here. But 2 Ravagers go down as well. That means that 2 more need to be produced. Pick up. Tank, will he unsiege? No, he just redrops. He felt confident enough in his position here. Perhaps that was a mistake as the tank does end up falling. We still have this 6 Marine drop idling in the top right. And all there is here is really just 2 Queens. Marines are fairly low in HP though. So probably, I actually prefer if ByuN just picks this up and goes back towards this general area. Don't forget, Serral's still only working off of 3 bases. Does have a 4th hatchery right now. Isn't really mining from it though. But once those the +2 carapace upgrade finishes up, it's going to be a huge deal because it's not realistic, given the economic circumstance here for ByuN, that ByuN is, that ByuN's going to get any extra upgrades, and constantly fighting with an upgrade deficit is definitely going to suck for him. For now though, upgrade deficit is on the side of Serral, who loses to Ravagers. Sloppy control here on the Ravagers as 2 more go down practically for free. Tank will once again get taken out by the remaining 4, but that was a very expensive mistake there by Serral. 1 Bane gets targeted down, 3, 4. All 4 go down. These are speed Banes on creep, and that means that these Lings most likely are not going to be good enough as ByuN stims in forward. I thought he was actually going to take the game there. That's not quite the case. As 5 more Roaches are in production. Yeah, 2 more tanks on the way as well. 2 more reactors coming in. Monogamous. There we go. Just keep practicing, Kevin. You can do it. Second eBay as well as an armory being thrown down here. So where earlier I said it didn't seem realistic to get any extra upgrades, ByuN doesn't quite agree with it. I mean, he keeps denying these side bases. He's like, well, we're just gonna play 3 base versus 3 base, except I'll do it with 2 command centers. I'll just float around. It's not a bad plan actually. I kind of do like that. I think it's a good one. I also feel like in these type of situations is that burrow is such a huge thing because there's very little creep and there's only 2 command centers, and mules can play kind of a big role in making sure that the mining is up to par with what the Zerg has. So even if you're just forcing out scans for 1 or 2 Banelings, I think that's very useful. And because there's so little creep, Banelings by themselves are a little bit less useful, and Banelings burrow can be a whole lot more useful. Yeah, this base once again is going to get taken out here. As these positions just a little bit too good. Big Ling run by though, but there are Marines in position. does feel like that ByuN is just going to hold without too much of an issue and takes out like the third fort base. No, the second fort base gets taken out here. It's kind of a big deal, honestly. Triple drop heading in towards the main base as well. There are no spores there. There are 5 queens. I wouldn't call that in position, but they're in the neighborhood, you know. They're close by enough. They're doing their routine patrol rounds. They're doing their rounds and gonna get killed while doing their rounds. Just to get taken out for starting down the queens with the high energy. Not sure if that was on purpose or just luck of the draw of where he dropped. But it did end up happening. 2-2 now starts for ByuN, and that's going to equalize these upgrades eventually. ByuN is not actually wanting to kill his opponent. ByuN just wants to take out the fort base again and again and again. So far, the trades have been favorable for ByuN. Oh, he's going to get pushed back completely here. That is kind of scary. Sometimes you can't quite land and set up a solid defense at home. This time, though, it is going to be possible here as there's a lot of mines out on the map. There's a lot of mines in production as well. And I think ByuN kind of realized, like, hey, this is kind of a fake Roach army. This is not real Roaches, you know? These are fake Roaches. I can actually play mines here. This is not a mass Roach type of thing. Although the tank trades were good, he wants to switch into that. There's 2 mines now burrowing here. This is always difficult with these vision blockers, making it hard for Zerg to attack into it. You don't quite know what's behind it. 14 SCVs just went down. I'm going to assume those were Banes that did all that damage. This fort base is absolutely vital here for Serral. If he can't hold this, he's in serious trouble here. He really is. Another Ling run by being sent out. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Marauder here being sent in forward, taking out 2 Banelings. And here comes Serral. Mine from the side. That was a big hit, wasn't it? 15 kills on that mine. Another huge hit. 10. Hardly. Wait, 0. How does a mine get 0 kills? I guess another mine already splashed the unit down that it ended up shooting. That's the only scenario I can imagine. 0 kill mine. It's kind of pathetic if all your mates are getting like 10, 15 kills. Not a good look there, buddy. Little loser. Unbelievable. A bullet wasted as well. This is what we pay for. Yeah. Poorly trained mines. Hate to see it. +2 infantry weapons here finishing up. Here comes a stim forward. Takes out 1 drone. Takes out a Bane by walking into it with Marines. Usually not quite how you want to clear Banelings. Walking into them head first. Don't worry about the asbestos. I ate it. Like, oh, that's great. We won't be troubled by it anymore. This is not that great of a fight for ByuN, it feels like. There's really not that many Banes, and he just kind of keeps eating them. I almost feel like he was much better with the tanks than he is doing right now with the mines. Despite mines usually being considered a better thing to have, as refineries now are being attacked. We see Serral trying to attack into Hive. Well, he's finally stabilized on 4 bases. He's trying to get a 5th as well on top of all of that. Another Ling run by here is being sent out. Trying to keep his opponent busy. As this is a 3rd command center, correct? Yes, that's the 3rd command center that we just saw being built. Not being turned into a planetary, so it's going to be triple orbital. I almost feel like that is a mistake as well. Surely the only way that Serral's winning here is by just doing these run-bys. There's no creep here. Infestors on the way out as well right now. Marines dealing a lot of damage. 1 Baneling gets taken out as it tries to hit. Good boost there on these medevacts, making sure the biles don't quite connect. Once more, this base, pretty darn vulnerable. Left side base, pretty darn vulnerable. This is the problem with double orbitals at a 3rd and a 4th. Here come mine shot. First shot was pretty okay. I mean, both of these mines did fine in the end. As we have 1 infestor out on the map already. Or 2 infestors. Okay, 2 infestors out on the map. Still no burrow, though. Hive has finished right now for Serral. And now that he's here, it's like, well, don't really have the cash. You know, this is... Spent all of his money getting there. He's like getting a very expensive flight ticket to a ski resort and then realizing you don't have enough money to buy the lift pass anymore. Yeah. That's great. He's gonna get burrow. You could have done it on lair, buddy. I don't think you needed to go to high for that. I understand he wants to go to hive. Eventually he's gonna need the carapace as well as adrenal, of course, but he is extremely poor at the moment. I don't think he's gone above 56 workers. Nah, he was at 60 workers at some point. Initially went to 60 workers, but he hasn't been there for quite a while now. He's not necessarily being outmined, but with these trades, you do need to outmine your opponent. Being even against the Terran or slightly behind isn't good enough. Here come the links once more. And yeah, ByuN is really struggling with those little moments, with these movements here that Serral's making with these links towards the left side. Is going to lose them, though. Not the sharpest game here out of Serral that I've seen him play. Definitely not the sharpest game. I mentioned it in the early game already. I think there was some serious sloppiness coming out of the young Finn that we're not used to seeing. And now, with these link run-bys, I feel like usually Serral is... One of the sick things about him is that he's always controlling his units. Like, there's never a moment where he's multitasking and not looking. Like, when he has 3 groups of units on the map, all 3 of these groups are being paid attention to. Like, that is really his massive skill. He is so quick at that. He's so good at controlling that, as well as these endgame armies. We're gonna get a pickup here on the Medivacs. +3 infantry weapons, finishing up in a couple of seconds. That is a big deal, actually. I hadn't quite realized, but we still... Okay, well, carapace level 3 on the way as well for Serral. 170 supply here for ByuN. It's just a 140 for Serral. Big infestor hit. Oh my god. Double fungal chains there on all of those. Medevac Marines are gonna get picked up. This was a huge fight for Serral. He was down 30 supply. Now he's down 3 supply. As that... Miami crap. They only got 2 kills. They look freaking huge, I guess, because it killed one of these Ravagers. Marauders are the ones getting fungled. Marines getting fungled as well, though. As these Banelings... Oh my god! That was some... honestly, kind of atrocious control here out of ByuN. Just moving into those Banelings. It might still be enough, though, as his army supply is huge. He is still up and upgrade for at least a little bit longer. There are 0 Banelings on the map. ByuN smells it and says, hey, I have a lot of personal healing here. As long as there's no Banes, I'm pretty sure I'm just winning. This investor does not have the energy right now as these mines start moving forward. Good splits this time around. Nice pick up there last second on these 4 Marines. Is trying to drop them again, but with the personal healing, I have a feeling that ByuN is just a tiny tad too powerful. This is extremely close. Especially because there are so many medevacs, so a lot of that army supply is in those medevacs, but I don't think it's going to be close enough. One more fungal is going to connect. GG gets called as ByuN here wins game number 1. And after that exciting game number 1, we find ourselves on a Golden Aura, which I think is not a bad map for Terran when it comes to the mid game. Once you get into the late game, these corner bases can be very hard to take often. As a Terran player, there's a lot of space for Zergs to maneuver. Perhaps this gold base a little bit more realistic. But then again, I've seen Zergs take that one real quick as well. ByuN says late game. What late game? There's 2 base all into for 20 minutes in a row. I think I can do that again. But we're starting off with a single base here. As it's a 3 Rex Reaper opener. Whereas last game was the minimum... the minimal amount of Reapers here with a 2 Rex opener. This time it's going to be a very high amount of Reapers with a triple Rex opener. Following it up, of course, still up with a triple CC. It's always going to be the case. These queens here trying to trade with these Reapers. The only thing they're trading right now is health. And although it looks nice taking away some health from Reapers, that's not lasting damage, as Reapers regenerate, of course, due to the ability, their regenerative properties that they have. We might end up dying here. We'll definitely... Oh! Whoa! I thought I was dead there. That was legit 1 HP. That was legit 1 HP. Is the next queen here... Oh no, it's not really being jumped upon. Lynx here getting this around. This is a terrible start for ByuN, I think. This was as well as it could have gone for Serral. Serral keeps both of these queens alive. Transfuses are now available, which means that, well, they could have been used, but instead we get an inject plus creep tumor. I mean, this queen is very, very low, but at the same time, feels like Serral just... He's safe. He is absolutely safe. Serral is moving in here with a scowl. Oh my god, this is the perfect timing as well. It's going to see the factory. Yep, it's going to see the factory. And the timing on that thing is pretty important. Because he should know at this point that it is impossible for ByuN to continue Reaper production. So this is going to be the Reaper threat, 5 Reapers. And then he sees the factory timing. Factory is what, 43? Yeah, 43 seconds. And starport is, well, like 36. I don't actually know what I think starport sounds like 36 seconds. I think that's correct. So, and then you still have the medevacs that take 30 seconds, and then the travel time, another 20 seconds. So you just kind of add all of that up in your head, and if you can do math like Serral can, you probably get to a number. It's like, okay, I can build drones until and I need to be ready in like 2.5 minutes. So you have like, it's a very linear defense from here on out. Like there's no tricks that ByuN can pull. There's no air units coming in. There's no heli and harass. There's no banshees that can kill a drone here or there. No, it's these 5 Reapers, and these 5 Reapers are in more than just a little bit of trouble right now. These lings are on their tails, and their tails are being bitten off by the sharp claw of the Zergling. 3 Reapers fall, and they're gonna be joining them up in Reaper Heaven or Reaper Hell, wherever they go. It's gonna be 8 of them boys together. And 13 lings going down to clear 8 Reapers, as well as the economic hit that ByuN takes to get that many Reapers out at such a rapid speed. Like, Serral can do anything he wants right now. Like, he's going up to 70 workers here. Like, he could expand up to 6 bases practically. Like, he'll have ultras out by the time his opponent hits. Okay, with anything serious. Okay, that's not quite true, but it could have been true. Like, this is a serious problem here for ByuN, because ByuN's going to have a pretty decently sized army, but Serral is done droning for potentially the rest of the game. There is no 3rd base on the way. Like, as long as Serral doesn't lose his 4th base again and again and again, I don't really see how he's losing this game. I just don't quite understand. There are 6 gases. Now we're getting 1-1 upgrades, which I much prefer over the setup he went for last game, by the way. Last game, let's not forget, he went for that Baneling plus Roach war, and then really we saw a lack of synergy against that 2-base all-in out of these units. There was just nothing there, and I love that we're just seeing Roaches with the 1-1 upgrades coming in as the defensive unit here. Good first trade, though, out of ByuN. Let's make sure that he doesn't stay around for too long. So although that was a good trade, he is seriously being outproduced by Serral here. ByuN only on 3 barracks, Serral on 3 hatches, but with the injects, of course, plenty of larvae coming out, instantly throws down that infestation pit. And there is such a huge timer on this game right now that I'm not even sure if ByuN is aware of that, which doesn't mean the timer doesn't exist. In a way, it might actually help ByuN, because he might take things a bit more patiently. He's like, okay, I don't want to rush into things here. You know, and don't quite know enough about the position to just rush forward. But there is a timer. Once the hive finishes, like, what do we go for here? Do we throw down that Hydra, then go for Lurkers? Or even just Vipers would be huge, right? Like, if you're playing Roach Ravager Viper against Marine Tank, like, that can be a big deal. That really can be. Could also just max out on Roach. Just kill the opponent. Like, it's a 60 supply advantage here for Serral. Now, a lot of that, of course, is in the workers as well. But this is not a fight that ByuN can take. It simply isn't. He's gonna need to evacuate out of this. I'd love for him to keep his tanks alive. He's gonna pick one of these tanks up. Keeps 12 Marines here as well. This is just not looking good. This is not looking good. This base is free. We have a hive on the way. We have a Baneling nest. Here, I like the late Baneling nest. I think this is good, because Serral has already completely established his 4th base and established his side of the map. He's saying, okay, hey, I'm alive. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. So, yeah, this drop is being stopped by an insane amount of roaches. There's like 11 roaches here defensively. Serral sees the lack of a 3rd base, which is just now being thrown down. He's getting his +2 carapace. I'm really curious what this hive is going to be, okay? Let's not forget, last game, I think we saw a hive finish 15 minutes into the game. That was a very different scenario. We have 77 drones as well for Serral, who just got so much map control with that pure Roach force here and with that 6-6 early game that I'm having trouble seeing how ByuN is going to weasel his way out of here. His plan seems to maybe be a push towards the main base, like this type of area. I wouldn't mind it. And he unloaded without being spotted, so if you could get some, yeah, maybe it would have been possible. It's not what he's going for. It's not what he's going for. Instead, we see a tank, a Liberator Marine push. 3 tanks, 2 Liberators, and an ungodly amount of Marines here. The Navy would be proud with this level of representation. in ByuN's army. Therefore, a little bit less proud. 2 Liberators. I guess Medivacs might be alright. It's not that bad. It really ain't that bad. Oh, here come the Lips. Tank's not quite sieged up, as both these Lips might just get taken out. Ooh. Serral missing a lot of biles here so far. As he's based on quite a veiling speed yet. Stim Marine's doing a good job. This fight went much better for ByuN than I thought it would, as the army supplies are creeping closer and closer. And that is really the only thing that matters. Centrifugal Hook still isn't done yet. 2 more Liberators coming in, but this flank might just be Serral's saving grace. Without that flank, I'm not so sure. 1 more Bane's gonna connect. Because it really felt like that this position was starting to make a whole lot of sense. Serral wins game number 2. We'll be heading into our final map. Steep switch up here in game number 3, as ByuN opens up with a command center first. Marine is the unit of choice here, not a Reaper. That means that he was in danger for example, I think like a pool first 6 Ling attack or something could deal some serious damage. But that didn't happen, so we just don't care about it in that case. 4 cars here being produced, as well as the starport. We have a double gas follow-up. Double CC, of course, has slightly more minerals. Usually a delay in a bit of tech, at least. There's downsides, there's upsides. And, of course, no quick Reaper harass either. Link's now moving in with that quick metabolic boost that we've seen Serral use quite a bit so far. As SCV under some fire. Under some heavy fire. But it will survive. These 4 Links are just banging around. Pop, pop, pop. What are we up to, guys? I don't know. Not much. Cloak Banshee coming out as well. Marine patrolling this path. I wonder if this... I mean, the Overlord's gonna scout it, right? The question isn't if the Overlord's gonna scout it. The question is, will the Overlord survive? There's no way this Overlord survive. He's gonna die real quick. So that's nice here for ByuN. That's something, at least. Gonna get a full-on scout here of the entire setup. No 3rd CC spotted. No, nothing being seen here. One of the beautiful things on this map for Terran is that it's very difficult in the early game to get run by it. As there's really only 2 paths towards your 3rd and your natural base. And the one path is on the left side and the other path is through the middle, which is in Watchtower vision always. There's no way to get around that Watchtower vision unless very early on in the game you mine these minerals. And then you mine these minerals. Like, that could be a play, that could be a setup, and it might make certain run-bys later on a little bit easier. But that's not what Serral has done, so it's completely irrelevant. It also costs a bit of money, of course, sending a drone down there on the right side and starting to mine these minerals. It's a lot of work. Mental effort you need to put in. Not saying that Serral couldn't do it, because he can, but just keep it in mind. Started burrow there for a second, must have been a misclick. As Banshee moves in, tries to fight this queen, will fight this queen, and then piss off again, because it can't actually win the fight. First triple CC build here, coming out of ByuN. This is not what we call a classic triple CC. Most of the time when we're talking about triple CC openers in this matchup, we have we talk about a 3rd CC before the 2nd gas. This was a 3rd CC after the 2nd gas, off of a fast command center first, of course. But at least it's not a 3 barracks before the 3rd CC, which is the path that ByuN had taken so far in this series in both games. We do have these quick 5 racks. We have much faster upgrades. I saw a Roach Warren go down, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? Yeah, I am correct. Indeed, it's a Roach Warren. Even some safety Roaches here were produced to deal with these cars, as well as speed. So that is serious investment here in defense. Serral has spotted that it's a quick 3rd CC. But it feels a little bit silly now for building those Roaches. It's Banshee's taking out 2 more here towards the left side. We're gonna have to wait and see how ByuN's gonna take care of this game. How's he gonna play it? What's he gonna do? Hellion's trying to make a move here. Coming from the west. Queens are nearby. So the Changeling is going to spot this little maneuver. Banshee's trying to get a scout off as to where that 4th base is being produced. It's not gonna be here, ByuN. Trust me on that. Okay? It's gonna be this is the spot you wanna go. That's it. I figured it out. Roach into Baneling Nest. So, practically the exact same setup that Serral went for last game. Was happy with the results. And the only thing that matters in StarCraft 2 are the results. ByuN lost a Banshee during all of this. See, oh, that's the killer. We've got ourselves a murderer. this particular queen with the 1 kill. Got the Banshee down. That's very big. Doesn't seem big, but it is, because these Banshees can be so annoying later on if they're in pair still. If they're alone, they're not that great, because very often there's at least 1 queen per base, and there's a spore as well for detection. But if there's 2 Banshees, that single queen just doesn't quite cut it, and you need to start making rotations for it. As well as, of course, the 2 Banshees are great against any type of Roach push. Just keeping your tank safe for later on is also a great thing to do, generally, with those Banshees. We have a... Not sure if this is a run-by or a defense force here that is being sent to secure the perimeter around this potential 5th base. Either way, that base is going to be safe for now. As Hellion Banshee controls the middle of the map, Serral controls the economy. He has 85 workers already. ByuN incapable of dealing any damage here whatsoever. Has killed 0 workers. This is almost... well... a no interaction game here between these players. ByuN decides to pick up and move towards the top side with these medevacs. It's the very north part of this map. I'm wondering what his actual plan is going to be. 4th base, extra barracks coming in as well. Okay, I dig it. But Viper's already out on the way. And Serral now setting up for what seems to me like it's going to be the beginning of a late game here. Or at least the early entrance towards the late game. Pretty much skipping the entire mid game is ByuN as well. At least that's what it felt like. He's preferring a big frontal push over the quick multitasking that we've often seen him do with these 2 groups out on the map. We still have this group out on the map, but just haven't been so active at all. Just haven't been so active. Creep spread on the far right is doing very well. Creep spread on the left is not doing as hot, but it's so difficult for Terran to attack her because the path that you need to take to attack it over like through this little path, it's uncomfortable. It exposes your 3rd base by an insane amount. Cutting through like this maybe could be possible, but there's a little bit of creep there. Makes it kind of scary. Not gonna lie, this is a difficult situation that ByuN finds himself in right now, where it doesn't feel like there's too many areas to push through. Does he want to go straight through the middle? That seems kind of crazy in a way. As, with the lots, see a 2nd Banshee. Maybe they die earlier. Queen took it out. Ooh! That looked like it was going to be potentially a very big mine shot. And this mine does have 15 kills, but I think a lot of those kills were from earlier. 18 SCVs get taken out. Not the biggest of deals, and it's still 65 workers for ByuN. And with the triple command centers as well, it's going to be capable of dropping some mules. These links, however, are going completely unchecked. ByuN forgetting about 5-6 links, didn't realize they were still there, and ends up losing 18 more workers. At the same time, we have a fight in the middle of the map. And this feels like almost a fatal blow here, a major blunder here. ByuN losing, what, 15, 16 more workers than he really should have. Like those initial workers, you can say, okay, well, he wasn't quite in position, but those others, he just wasn't paying attention. And that can be a very big crime that gets harshly punished by Serral's court here. He's a hard judge. Big punishment here. It's an orbital here on the 4th. Just like on Heartlet, ByuN being completely okay with just running around, chasing groups of Lynx and Banes that want to clear SCVs at a high pace. 3-3 start. We have Kindness plating on the way, so follow-up here seems to me like it's going to be the Ultralisk. Of course, a fantastic unit. Roach run by as Serral tries to get rid of them in somewhat of an economic way. Doing an okay job at that. These Banelings not getting the greatest connections, although the top side of the army does get taken out, and a lot of Banelings do end up surviving. 11, 13, 14 workers going down. Burrow not quite done, and that means these Roaches will die, but I think Serral is okay with that, because he wants to replace the Roach supply with units that actually deal damage and don't suck balls. And it's going to be Ling, Bane. You see this Ultra being mixed in as well. I wouldn't even mind seeing 1 or 2 Infestors here, with that Burrow upgrade now finishing up. Doesn't sound like a terrible plan whatsoever to me. Does not. ByuN now trying to split up his army. He's still trying to reproduce these workers as well, although he's staying on a fairly garbage tier army. This is This is how ByuN sometimes likes to play against Ultra armies, is where he won't go above 70 workers. And what he does is he just gets Marauder Marine Mine and maybe adds like 2 to 6 Liberators later on. Now this sounds bad, but he's going to have an absolutely massive army. And if you can fight off creep against a Lingbane Ultra army, it's actually kind of fine. This is a 5th base also as an orbital, by the way, which is just crazy to me that we're not getting a single planetary here yet. Not a single one, as the parasitic bomb does connect with one of those medevacs and forces the rest kind of move away as well. ByuN pretty much out of position here without the backing of a planetary. It's gonna get pushed back. Only ends up losing 3 workers. ByuN says, no, you know what, I'm not getting pushed back. I'm gonna base trade you. Which is a pretty cool move, to be honest. It is a pretty cool move. I'm not going to lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's an okay move. What are the unit counts right now? We have 20 Marauders. We have 61 Links. 1 Ultra, 23 Banes. Only 8 Mines. I would much prefer this situation if there were 14 or 16 Mines. Alright, I think that would be good. I really do believe that, because a lot of mines are just being kind of sprawled around defensively, which means that this type of push doesn't have any mine coverage, and mine coverage can be huge. There is an infestor lurking around here, which could deal some very big damage. Here we go. Yep, there. Whoa. Huge move there. As Banelings just eat this army alive. Combination with that fungal, destroying the entire map presence of ByuN, and ByuN wants to play a style in which he just has absolute control of the map. That is what he wants to do. But he can't if he only has 1 army. He needs 2 armies on the map. Medevacs are fairly low on energy as well as HP, by the way. I think ByuN's going to survive, at least for now. Ghost in production. I think we see a switch in styles right now here. ByuN realizing that the mobile double force here is kind of coming to an end. The era of the double drops here. You know, it was fun as long as it lasted, but how much longer can it last? So we're seeing some trouble with splitting this side of the army off. It's gonna get spotted instantly as well. This turns into a defensive force right away. I think that is the correct call. Oh my god! You see that Ling Drag? What the hell? I mean, I don't like doing this in live games, but we kind of have to. Okay, look at this. Look at this. This was so sweet. This was just freaking sweet. The precision. Look at this. Pop. Sees it? Poof! That mine dealt more damage to his mates than he dealt to the Zerg army. That Ling had like 2 HP left when that missile hit. It's small things like that that matter so much in this. Like, another Zerg loses 12 Lings there. I guess Serral also ended up losing his entire army, but he's so big. You get a big attack here on the bottom side. It's mad. Such nice control there. Real nice control. Is this planetary not quite done yet? That is a big deal. That really is a big deal, because that could have dealt a lot of damage to these Baneling clumps. So much damage to these Baneling clumps. Even a bigger target in general as well, as the Lurker then is about to finish up. And it seems to me that Serral is just wanting to transition into something else once more. He had like a minor move into Ultralisk. It almost feels like he wanted to force ByuN and tell ByuN, it's like, hey, it's okay to stay on Marauders for now. I'm playing Ultras. I know you love your Marauder counts. And ByuN, he took that bait. He said, okay, Marauders, you got it, sir. And now ByuN is in a situation where it's like, well, he's gonna be mining off of 6 base, which isn't bad. It really isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It needs to turn into a planetary at some point, but it doesn't have a ghost count, doesn't have liberators. It's gonna be fighting against Serral. There's an insane bank. Serral can just easily be switching in and out of army comp. Again, and again, and again. 12 workers going down here. Bottom side command center is going to be turning into a little planetary fortress. At least that's what I'm expecting. That is what I am expecting. Starports on the way. Liberator transition coming in. At least that's the thing that makes the most sense. It's not going to be Ravens or BCs at least. That's the only thing I can tell you. There's one thing that Terrence hated is units that you have to build with attack ramp out at the start. Ooh, this is a big mine hit. Those were some extremely big mine hits. The mines have largely died, but there was 2 mine hits there that were huge. At the same time, we have anything on the bottom side. Mine count still just only around 9 or 10. I guess it was a little bit higher because we saw just 4 or 5 go down in the past 25 seconds. Infestor here lurking around. It's gonna get a pretty decent fungal here. The thing needs to get connection. Mine's also not that bad once more. Planetary, just a little bit too far still. Just a little bit off. And if this can turn into a planetary and you have 5 mines in front of it, that is a solid position. And ByuN is trying to get there, but he ain't there yet. And that is the problem that he has right now. And it's a very serious problem that he has. These SCVs under some heavy fire as well. Serral kind of finds his army in a split manner, moves in between and then just cleans up one side. Cleans up the other side at the same time as well. There's no overseers there, but I think it's going to be fine as Serral at 181 supply with about 10k resources in the bank. Just walking over his opponent. Beautiful play here. Coming out of Serral, who wins this game and thus wins the series with a 2-1 score versus ByuN. Nice little game. I'm very happy with this. Good series. I hope you all enjoyed it very much as well. I hope you did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for more and new videos. Thank you, and bye-bye.